NANI?!
Hey, it's me, PB at Kotaku. I just wanted to start off the video with saying, Happy Halloween! Well, see you later. Just kidding. Last year, I really did want to do a video for Halloween, but it didn't really work out. This year though, I made sure it would happen. So what to do for the video? Should I break open trick-or-trade Pokemon cards? Do a Halloween Squishmallow haul? Or a Halloween backpack review? Nah. You know, it's been a minute since I've done a scale figure review. In fact, the last time I did one was in January 2024. It's been a long time coming, and I really want to do one now. I've said before I'm a scale figure enjoyer, and in addition to that, I really like the Kotobukiya Bishoujo line of figures, scale figures based on artwork by Shunya Yamashita. To keep in line with Halloween, I'm going to review a horror Bishoujo figure, and to further narrow it down and make it really appropriate, that figure is the Halloween Michael Myers Bishoujo. I'm gonna assume slasher movie enjoyers and Halloween enthusiasts are already familiar with Michael Myers and the Halloween movie franchise. If you're not, I'm not gonna bore you with a bunch of lore. Just Google search Halloween Michael Myers, do 10 minutes of reading, and that should be enough to get you up to speed. I'll preface the review by stating this figure is not a new release and is only available in the second-hand market. With that out of the way, here's some basic info on the figure. Bishoujo Myers was manufactured by Kotobukiya. The sculptor of this figure was Masahiro Takahashi. Shunya Yamashita illustrated the image this figure was based off of. It released over 5 years ago on April 24th, 2019. This is a 1/7 scale figure, and its original retail price was 9,000 yen or $89.99. The box is fairly standard Bishoujo fare. You could get a good look at the figure from the front. The main illustration is on one side, the Halloween logo is on the other. On the back is a nice graphic of the figure, and it blends quite well with the Halloween logo. And finally, the top has a window in the shape of the iconic jack-o'-lantern design. Anyways, we're not reviewing a box, we're reviewing a scale figure. Let's open this up. I really like it when a figure's assembly process is simple and stress-free. We're starting off very well when the figure is already attached to the base. Here's the Michael Myers mask and the bloody knife. The only assembly required is to put the knife in Michael Myers' hand. Let's do that. You can line up the knife's handle to slide perfectly into the gap that is Bishoujo Myers' hand. However, it's also very loose and will fall out, as I'll demonstrate. To make the knife lock in place, hook the curved edge of the handle on top of her fingers and rotate the knife counterclockwise ever so slightly. The blade does feel fragile, so be a bit careful when doing this. Once the knife's in, it's in. It won't fall out after shaking the figure around. It may be a bit hard to see the curved edge, but hopefully you can see it in these shots. If you're having trouble, focus on the very tip of her index finger or where the downward slant of the knife handle ends. Let's start off with a full shot of this awesome figure. Bishoujo Myers has on the trademark jumpsuit, but elects to have it partially removed to expose her black tank top. I do think that was a good choice because the pose really does fit with the pinup girl aesthetic that's a signature aspect of not only the Bishoujo line of figures, but Shunya Yamashita's art overall. Why don't we compare Bishoujo Myers with the original version? Well, the jumpsuit for Bishoujo Myers is gray rather than a navy blue, and it's too bad Kotobukiya didn't make a feminine mask that could be worn by the figure. I think that would have been really cool. Let's get a closer look starting with the upper part of the figure. The hair's fairly standard, nothing special going on here. It's not messy like prize figure hair, but it's not amazing. At least Bishoujo Myers' bangs hide the seam lines on her head very well. I gotta appreciate that it looks like she's got some muscle and tone on her. I guess that should be expected for someone who's a supernatural killer. The face is really well done. She's got an alluring, yet emotionless gaze. The latter, which is typical of Michael Myers. And I gotta love the flawless makeup. Perfectly done eyebrows, mascara, and even purple lipstick. Still gotta look perfect even when you're on a killing spree, right? Here's the midsection of the figure. There's not too much to go on about here. The jumpsuit is wrinkly and baggy like it should be, and the paint job on the jumpsuit is noteworthy in my opinion. It has no shading and it looks dull, but I feel that's a good thing and is consistent with the drab, flat colors of the original character. It's not like the dull paint job on prize figures. This is more like a stylistic suck. Not familiar with that? check out the term on TV tropes. And now for the lower part and the base. Rather surprisingly, this is probably one of the more detailed areas of the figure. I like that Bishoujo Myers wasn't merely given solid black boots. Bishoujo Myers is wearing Vietnam-era jungle boots that are original wore in the 1978 movie. That's a small but very nice detail. As for the base itself, it's quite narrow. However, due to Bishoujo Myers' rather simple pose, a wide base is not needed to keep her stable. Real estate is at a premium in my shelves, so having bases that take very little surface area is always a huge plus in my book. To add a little more flair and character to this figure, she's standing on top of the jack-o'-lantern that serves as one of the main logos of the franchise. Going off the eyes, it looks like it matches the Halloween illustration. It's definitely not the original, and there's so many versions, I don't know what movie this jack-o'-lantern belongs to. A few other things I want to focus on are the knife and bloodstains on this figure. I really like the details on the knife. Looking back at a previous shot, you could see that the metallic paint gives off a shine just like a real knife, and the blood does look convincing. Also, aside from the copious amount of blood on the knife, you can make out some smears. That's a nice little detail. Moving on to the upper part of the jumpsuit, some blood is present on the inner lining. Maybe she's stripping down because her outfit got dirty and she needs a change? Probably not. Finally, there's a small bit of blood on her upper leg. Below and around the larger stain are some lighter blood stains. This effect makes it look like the blood soaked into the jumpsuit just a bit. You know, for a stabbing, that's not much blood. I would think there'd be a lot more and it'd be a lot messier, like the Evil Dead Ash Bishoujo. Then again, I've never watched a Halloween movie, so I don't know how bloodstained Michael Myers gets. Oh, and the small blood splatter on the face? Can't avoid that, I guess. Even in anime, if blood gets spilled, it gets on someone's face. Now I want to take a few moments to discuss the availability of this figure. Given that it released over 5 years ago, it's no longer readily available at big retailers like Big Bad Toy Store, Ami Ami, or Sideshow Collectibles. There are tons of listings on Amazon and eBay, and at first glance, you might be thinking, 40 bucks? That's cheap. Well, unfortunately, those marketplaces are plagued with bootleg Bishoujo figures. Here are some guidelines to avoid bootlegs and counterfeit figures. Avoid sellers from China, avoid low-priced listings, compare auction or listing photos to photos of genuine articles, search seller feedback for mentions of bootleg, counterfeit, or fake, ask for additional photos of figure with the seller's name written on a paper, and if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Going off eBay sold listings, the going rate for this figure is in the $180 to $220 range. It doesn't seem to be available pre-owned at Japanese shops neither. Last going price I can see in Japan was 20,000 yen, which is about $130 at current rates. It's very rare to see re-releases for horror Bishoujo figures. Only 3 from this line have seen re-releases: Freddy, Jason, and Beetlejuice. While Pennywise didn't get a re-release, a variant of her was made years after the original's release. With all that said, getting a deal on this figure is just not likely. Now if you want to get an authentic version of this figure, you're likely going to have to shell out a good amount of money for it. Also, don't buy bootlegs. They look so bad, and you're just going to end up regretting it later. Back to Bishoujo Myers. My final thoughts? This is a very simple, yet very solid figure. As the years pass, I prefer simplicity more and more. I just want to take the figure out of the box and enjoy it. I don't want to stress out handling fragile pieces during the assembly process. That's not fun. I would say Bishoujo Myers is my favorite in the horror line. She looks really cool, she's simple, and she's not intrusive. I can display her at the front of my shelf and she won't obscure the figures behind her. Also, like I said before, the narrow base keeps her stable and allows me to comfortably fit more figures into my limited space. That does it for the review, but now I'm gonna level with you. I'm sure you noticed already, but I've actually had this figure since it released. You might have even noticed the figure right behind me in this shelf in my previous videos, but hey, I just wanted to show off one of my favorite figures. As you can see, I have quite a lot of figures. Maybe I should do reviews on more of my open figures? Maybe. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Patreon's down low if you want to provide further support. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.